Hello and good afternoon everybody, and welcome to Infinite Learning's webinar. My name is Rebecca Anand. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of Infinite Learning. We are delighted to be running this webinar today in partnership with Jules Murray, and we welcome her to speak about Powerful Positive Presence, a training course to enhance personal impact. Certainly something I'm sure we're all interested in, myself included. So this introductory webinar will give you an insight into a virtual program that we're running in conjunction with Jules, which is going to provide you with some invaluable advice on how to maximise your presence and create a powerful impact on the people you meet and work with. Jules will be looking at NLP techniques, if you're familiar with those. If you're not, definitely sign up for the course, although you'll find out a little bit more during this presentation. And she's going to aim to raise your possibility consciousness. I love that expression, to ensure that you are on point to present the very best version of you that you can be. I think in these challenging times, that's absolutely something we all need, isn't it? How can we be the best that we can be? Now, before I hand over to Jules, just a few small areas of housekeeping. At the moment, you're all automatically on mute, on listen-only mode, and we'll allow Jules to deliver her presentation in full, but then there's plenty of time at the end for question and answers. So in your dialogue box, you'll see there's a chat area, and please feel free to use that to ask questions. We really do encourage that. Jules is more than happy to answer those at the end. And as I say, there'll be about 15 minutes towards the end to do all of that. Also, there will be a video webinar recording, and that will be sent to you 5 o'clock tomorrow. So it literally happens sort of 24 hours after the end of the webinar. So that will be there for you to refer back to. Other questions we normally get are, will I get a copy of the PowerPoint? Yes, you will. That will follow immediately after this webinar. That will be sent out to you by our admin team. And the other favourite question is, will I get a certificate? And yes, if you have attended the session, not if you've registered, but if you've actually attended the session, you will get a certificate. And again, that will be sent out automatically tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I think that's it from me for now. So without further ado, Jules Murray, over to you, Jules.
Rebecca, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, well, I am so happy that so many of you could join me today, and I think that it's a very exciting time and a very great topic that we're going to be talking about, which is indeed my course, which is about enhancing personal impact. What I'm going to do, as Rebecca said, is I'm going to aim to share a taster of the full program with you. So I'll be showing you sort of a diverse section of slides and exercises and content of the program. And of course, my aim is to have maximum personal impact upon you so that you desperately want more. And that, of course, you will sign up to the full course at the end of September. So please sit back, enjoy, and I hope that you all get something really beneficial out of the tips and techniques that I'm going to share with you today. So, powerful positive presence. Look at my beautiful girl there on the screen. I mean, she really has it, doesn't she? She looks authentically comfortable and confident in her own skin. Let's have a think about what powerful presence is then, because personal presence is the experience that people have of you and the memory that they will take away. Think about that again. So it's your presence is the experience people have when they've met you and what they remember of you after you've gone. Okay, I like that. So that's really what we're looking at today. And I think that this timing and why I've written this course now and delivering this course content now is because it's the absolute perfect time to start looking at our personal impact. We are in a global pandemic, okay? People are in a very volatile time at the moment, a very uncertain time. It's full of confusion and indeed ambiguity. And what they're looking for, of course, is confidence and reassurance from us. And so many have gone into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Now, you will know already that some of us already taken flight, and some of us are indeed starting to fly again, but a lot of us are still left there in freeze mode. Now, when we're in freeze mode, we're almost lost our way and we don't know where to go or what to do, and we're waiting. We're looking for new normals. Now, I am absolutely 100% looking for new normals right now. And I've started to ask myself, well, what do my values look like now? And the reason I'm asking myself is that because one of my biggest attributes is I'm a massively tactile person, a really, really touchy-feely person. I'm a hugger. If you've ever shaken hands with me, you will know that I can give the most sincere and warmth through a handshake. My body language is all about leaning in. And that was, how I created my personal impact. That was my style. And indeed, I could build rapport very, very quickly with it. And I could make some incredible relationships, which have served me so well throughout my career. Now, without that touchy-feeliness at the minute, I am feeling a little bit lost, and I'm feeling like, well, how do I make my personal impact now? Now I can't bowl over and hug and touch people. So have a think about personal impact and your own, and have also a think about the people that have impacted upon you in your life. This might be a school teacher that you remember all those years ago when you were at school. It is for me all those years ago when you were at school. But it's the ones that had that gravitas, that charisma and that presence that you wanted, to be around. You found contagious and you wanted it to rub off on you. Now, I was reading an article over the weekend, and it was an article produced by PricewaterhouseCoopers. And it was about the evolving travel and tourism industry right now. And if I can just share the stats with you, it stated that 80% of consumers are now making travel choices based on communication they've received from their travel providers. Have a think about that again. 80% of consumers are now choosing their provider based on the communications that they're having with them. What that says to me, guys, is travelers are up for grabs. They are no longer being loyal to their original provider, or indeed the airline that they used to use, their previous provider. And why are they doing that? They're doing that because they're looking for some confidence. They're looking for some reassurance and some knowledge. Have a think. If you're on the same wavelength as me right now, what you are thinking is, surely this is not just the tourism and travel industry. This is all of us. This is your industry right now, and it's absolutely mine indeed. So we all need to look at stakeholder relationships and how we're making and maximising a positive impact upon them. How are we maximising our relationships with our stakeholders and making sure that we have a powerful, positive, personal impact and presence with them? That's really what the course is going to be about, and how we really do that. And I think the timing is absolutely perfect for it. And I'm so excited about the content. I think it's absolutely on point. Now, I've been in personal development since 2006 now, so 14 years, and I'm helping people globally to improve themselves. So many times I hear that people are looking to improve themselves working from the outside in. We've all been there. Come on, ladies, you know, when you say, when I've bought that designer pair of shoes, I am going to feel so amazing. Guys, when you're driving that great big, new Mercedes or that new Range Rover you've had your eye on, your whole world is going to fall into place, right? And people believe that. When I've lost 10 kilos, oh my God, I'm going to be so self-confident. When I've got married, I'm going to feel more secure and have more self-esteem. I'm sure I am. When I've graduated, I'm going to be more, have greater, achievement and gravitas and presence in the world. Of course, that might work to a certain degree, but it certainly doesn't work for the long term. And the way I always work with people and have always trained people is, of course, from the inside out. And this course is no exception. So what you'll be looking at and what you'll be experiencing with me is how I work on our thought process and indeed our mindset to make the differences in your personal performance. We'll have a look at that and more of that later on, and I'll explain to you how and why I do it. But we have to work on ourselves from the inside out and not the outside in. So if you're looking for a new experience and to really change, you know, change habits of a lifetime, change habits that have been embedded in you for a very, very long time, then this might just be the very, very course for you. And as I said to you earlier in my promotional video that I put out there, you know, this is tough. You know, having a very powerful positive presence can be tough, especially if you're a naturally introvert or naturally shy person. Having said that, creating personal impact does not have to be a big loud bang. It can be done quietly and softly and still have, you know, and be mightily effective. So I want you to start right now, right in this present moment, because the power is always, always in the present moment. We're never stuck in the past, never, ever. There's things in life that we cannot control, and there's things in life that we cannot change. Where and when you were born, for example, your DNA, your height. But of course, we can change our attitude towards those things. And once we start to change our attitude towards those things and we become more self-accepting and we have more self-love, then of course our personal impact and our personal presence should naturally follow. So, are we ready? Let's get going and have a look at the next slide. Okay, who is this course for? Well, anyone who is looking really to improve their personal impact and indeed their self-confidence and indeed their presence. We're going to be looking at your personal branding. Now, I don't know why you've joined me today, and I really don't, but I'm very, very, very grateful that you have. Maybe you want to be the most memorable teacher that your school has ever seen. Maybe your new role involves you giving presentations to whole school assemblies, to new parents, to board of directors, to all sorts of different stakeholders. Maybe you want to speak more assertively and have more gravitas and presence when you speak. Maybe you just generally want to boost your own self-esteem and confidence and make the world a more positive, happier place. Maybe you've been inspired. Maybe you were watching Jacinda Ardern talking about the Easter Bunny, and maybe you've been inspired and to want to be more, have more personal impact and indeed presence in life. Whatever your reason for joining, I know that this course is going to give you some great content to work on yourself, and I will help you through the whole 4 weeks of the program, which I will tell you about at the end of this introduction. Okay, let's have a look at our next slide. How am I going to do all this? There are so many different ways in which we create personal impact. Now, I'm going to be working on body, voice, and words, but I'm going to be working on a much deeper level on that, because I'm going to look at the elements that combine all of those things together, and how that when you are speaking and working congruently, all of those three things will dovetail perfectly well together to create a great positive personal presence. Lots of different ways we make a personal impact. And I was listening to a podcast interview by Louis Theroux, one of my absolute all-time favorites. Louis Theroux, a journalist and broadcaster, and he was interviewing an Irish actor called Chris O'Dowd. Now, I don't know if you know Chris O'Dowd. If you've ever watched the Bridesmaids movie, he was the Irish actor who played the policeman and indeed the boyfriend. But anyway, he was being interviewed by Louis Theroux on this program. And he said that every single time he went to an acting audition, so every time he had a casting call, he would arrive, and his style, the way he made impact, was to always pretend that he had been bitten by a dog on the way to the interview. Now, I absolutely love this. And of course, he would draw great attention to himself as he came through the door of reception. And he'd be saying, oh my God, I've just been bitten by a dog outside. Can you believe that? There's a little terrier and it's just had me on the leg. And of course, the receptionist would see if he needed some help, and, it would use this to break the ice. But of course, his dream wish was that at the end, when he'd gone, and all the other actors had gone as well, that the casting directors would be sat around thinking, well, who shall we cast for that boyfriend place? What about the guy? What about the Irish guy who got bitten by the dog on the way to the interview? So there's one way to make personal impact. That's his style, and he did it religiously until he actually got a break in his acting career. Now, another friend of mine, he goes to a lot of corporate networking events, and his style, his brand, is that he wears orange shoes. I kid you not, this guy wears orange shoes. And he says the reason is, he said, when you go to these corporate networking events, he said, there's a lot of black and navy blue and grey. It's a very corporate scene. No one's standing out. No one's making a difference. He said, but people may then talk about the guy with the orange shoes. Now, I'm not suggesting for a minute that you go through life walking into rooms pretending that you've just been bitten by a dog, or indeed to wear some orange shoes. And what I am going to be working on you with is things that are more closer to home, things like your body language, the way you're standing, the way you enter a room, the way you present yourself, your voice. Okay, this is the speed and the breath and the volume and the intonation of which you speak. And of course, the words that you choose to use, and indeed how you say them. Now, I am qualified NLP, as Rebecca said in the introduction. Now, NLP, if you're unfamiliar, stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Neuro, this is our thoughts, and it's all about the brain, of course, the way we receive and process information. Linguistics, these are the words that we use, and indeed the way we say things. Programming is our behavior, the way we present ourselves, the way we stand. It can be done, with your body language. So I'm going to take a blend of that, and I'm going to add it to what I'm also qualified in, which is dispersonality profiling. And I'm going to show you some really short and quick fire ways to be able to identify personality types of people around you. And why would you want to do that? You'd want to do that so that you could build rapport with them quickly and have more personal impact on them and be able to positively influence them. And lastly, I'm also a goal mapping practitioner. So once I've given you all these great tips and all these great techniques, I'm going to leave you there with them. I'm going to show you how to set yourself a compelling goal, and we're going to work through some steps as to how to make everything fit and slot into place for you. We're going to get some great systems, some really effective systems that we can schedule for ourselves and make sure that they're achievable, and how we're going to get there and the timeline in which we're going to achieve those things. So I'm hoping that I've intrigued you right now to know some more. So I'm going to share a few slides of some content which we'll be covering on the course. And the first thing I'd like to do is to apply the iceberg model to personal impact. The iceberg model travels around the world from industry to industry. It's a very, very good way of and I use it a lot on all of my training course. It's simply a metaphor of an iceberg. There you go. And what we have a look at here is how experiences deeply influenced by underlying events. Okay, so we're going to have a look at things that sit underneath certain situations. I'll explain that in more clearly in a second. So what we've got here is our iceberg, and what I'm putting in now is the water level. Those I'm sure of you are familiar that 10%, just 10% of an iceberg sits above the water level, which means for the great mathematicians amongst us, 90% therefore is hidden. 90% is sitting underneath the water. Now, let's have a look further at this iceberg. Sitting right at the top of our iceberg is what we want out of this situation, which is a result. You know, I want a result today. I want people to convert, to come onto my bigger program at the end of the month. You want a result today because of whatever you are doing, but we can't go out and do a result. So what we do is we go out and we put in a performance. Now, depending upon the performance we put in, we'll obviously decide the result we're going to get out. But what makes up performance? Well, on one side, it's the activity or the quality of activity that we are undertaking. And on the other, it's the skills and knowledge that we have to do that activity. So those three things making up performance, and as you can see, they are sat above the water level, so everyone can see and hear them. Lurking below the water level is what I'm all about with you today, and what I'm going to encourage you strongly to get out and use as your personal branding and get it out above the water level line. And what is this 90%, you're probably asking yourself? Well, that's you. This is the fire in your belly, okay? These are your beliefs and your values. These are indeed what I'm going to call your DAC factor. What's a DAC factor, Jules? Well, it's kind of like your X factor, but I'm going to call it a DAC factor because for me, this part here is your passion. This is your drive or your determination. This is your positive attitude that you have towards the thing that you're doing. And indeed, it's your confidence. So I'm going to be talking about your DAC factor and how this is the bit that's going to improve your presence, your personal impact, your gravitas, and your influence that you have on people around you. Now, if you think of yourself as that metaphor rather than an iceberg, then of course that's you. You know, the 10% that everyone can see is just you. That's the facial expressions that you're wearing, the way you're walking, what you've decided to wear today. And then, of course, the quality of activity. You might be holding a meeting, you might be teaching children, you might be doing a parent showroom, you might be doing some accounts. And then, of course, the skills and knowledge that you have to do that job are also clearly visible. But I want to encourage you so much just to let your DAC factor through. Show people how passionate you are about doing the activity that you are doing. Show them the energy and the enthusiasm that you have to do that particular job. Once you do that, you become memorable. You become, the person that's creating, the impact and giving a great memory for the people that are around you and that you're communicating and working with at that moment in time. And you know what? This can be a really, really simple thing. Doesn't have to be huge. It can be the difference between when somebody says to you, "Oh, good morning, how are you today, Sarah?" And you go, "Yeah, fine, bearing up, so, yeah, it is what it is." It can be the difference between that and this. "Hi, Sarah, how are you today?" Fantastic. Letting people know that you've got some energy and enthusiasm and you've got a differentiator. And you know what? That's pure positive presence right there. That's impact. And the reason it is because upbeat, happy, positive people are contagious. People want to be around those type of people. They want to be around the fantastic responders. Because heads turn. Ooh, what's she on? I'll have some of that. And they hope that it's going to rub off on them. It's a very contagious thing. So let it out, guys. Don't just walk around being a 10%er. Show them what lies underneath. Show them what drives you, what motivates you, why you enjoy doing what you do so very, very much. And just before I leave this slide, I was thinking earlier that some of my most successful, the greatest achievements that I've had in my career, when I think about them, the common denominator is absolutely, definitely when I've had the most positive passion and drive, and I've been able to influence people that I've met when I've been in that situation. And I've got a quick story for you, and it's one where a few years ago, it's not so long ago, but I was very privileged to be working in Abu Dhabi. I was Director of Development for Education. And I decided in my role, which I loved so very, very much, that I was going to sell millions of dirhams of school debentures to big businesses in Abu Dhabi. And I'm talking about Etihad Airlines, and I'm talking about Cleveland Clinic. Because what I knew was these industries, they needed to be bringing over to the UAE some really highly skilled surgeons and doctors and pilots. And when people relocate, they come as a package. And if they could get into the school of their choice, and they could get into the school to be at, the most outstanding school that there was, then that surely wouldn't break the deal of these people signing their contracts and coming over. Anyway, I was so passionate about this idea, and I securely, made myself an appointment with these board of directors and some very high flyers within these organizations. And I would take my boss along with me. Now, my boss was the most supportive. He was he was my biggest fan, actually. I obviously had lots of personal impact on him. He's very quiet, calm, and measured. Hugely emotionally intelligent man, and an absolute joy to work with. But he would take me, we would go together in the car to these meetings. And I'm sure that he could just feel me fizzing and bubbling on the seat next to him, thinking, oh my God. And when we would get into the room, that was my time to shine. And this thundering horse would almost come out of my body, but it didn't matter, because what was happening was there was no doubt whatsoever. Nobody would have doubted that the amount of passion and belief I had for the product, that I was able to not just build rapport and build really long-lasting great relationships, but I was going to be successful in them, because I'd established my likability and credibility so early on in the relationship by making this incredible positive impact on the stakeholders. So I hope you enjoyed that story, and really that's what this is all about, isn't it? And that's all the skills and techniques that I'm going to share with you going forward. Okay, next slide. Okay, managing your inner critic. This one is definitely close to my heart. My inner critic, there she is. She's my bed buddy. Oh my goodness, okay? It's like having a sleepover with a friend, but a friend that doesn't like you very much, okay? This is a friend who's going to say really mean things to you, and is going to fill you with self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs. But you know what? It's as you grow older and as you get more experience in life, you realize that you can manage your inner critic. And I'm going to show you on the course, how to manage and listen to your thoughts and really be aware of where your thoughts are. Because all your inner critic is there for is to protect you. But we don't need her or him to be reminding us of all the negative babble that's going on that used to be going on in our lives. And that keeps you stuck in the past. Now, I'm a very transparent person, and I'm very happy to share with you that when I was a child at school, my parents, they were extremely tough on me. They were very, very disciplined, hardworking people. They were very strict. and they were very difficult to impress. When I would come home from school and I'd say, Dad, right, I got 91% in my biology exam today. And my dad would say, what happened to the other 9%? I know, sad, right? Hurtful. But that was just who he was. And I could never, ever achieve. I never felt like I could exceed his expectation. I had to be a 97%er. But the thing is, kids are very, very suggestible, aren't they? And I was. My mind as a child, of course, like any child, was easily influenced. I didn't vote on this at any point. At no point of my childhood did I stop myself and think, oh, I must remember that. I'll write myself down. I'll never become anything. I'll never achieve. What do I want to do that for? I never, ever said that to myself, I promise you. But the thing is, if you hear something enough, it turns into a belief. Now, these days, you know what? I don't have the bandwidth for that self-criticism anymore. I really don't. And I think sometimes we need to take ourselves back to the sandbox, draw a line in that sand, and just start again. Because we are in charge of our brains and we are in charge of our destiny, guys. And we can be who we want to be. Okay, we don't have to live in the past and believe all of those self-limiting beliefs that stop us achieving. We can replace all of those self-limiting beliefs with powerful, positive, empowering beliefs, things that make us work, things that give us great personal impact and presence, and things that really, really make a difference, of course, in life. So if you ever hear yourself now saying, oh, you know what, I'm rubbish at networking, or oh, crumbs, this class, they're so difficult to control. Have you seen them? And I really can't do this small talk in the staff room. It's just not me. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Oh, I can't address the whole assembly. I hate doing this. Oh my gosh, I've got to go and, you know, give a presentation to the board of directors. I'm so nervous. You can stop yourself right there and say, what if you wasn't? What if you wasn't? What if you were brilliant at it? What if you believed so much that you could do this? And the thing is, you can. Yes, it takes time. You know, these old bad habits that we have and these old bad criticisms we have on ourselves, they are stubborn. We can't, you know, just throw them out of the upstairs window. We need to coax them down the stairs sometimes, one step at a time. But it's totally possible to do. And I'm going to show you through this incredible blend of NLP techniques and visualization and powerful positive affirmations that you can have the presence and the personal impact that you really want. And this means no self-criticism whatsoever. We will tell it to get out. The next time we have this negative thought creep up on us, we need to be aware of where our brain is, of where our thoughts are, and we need to manage them. And if you've ever read the chimp paradox, this is exactly that. It's about telling your chimp to be quiet and to manage it. Just imagine that it's your own home and you're sat there with your partner watching TV in the evening and you've got beautiful things around you. If somebody came in and started turning the furniture upside down, I'm sure you wouldn't allow that to happen. You would say, get out, stop that, get out of my house. And really, you know, another metaphor, of course, but all we need to do is when those thoughts come in, we say, get out, and we replace them by some very positive, powerful, empowering techniques. Next slide. Change the lens, guys. This one is really just about, you know, you might be thinking this is a massive feat that she's asking us to do. This is a massive course that we're going to be going on. But it isn't. Sometimes it's just a very, very small adjustment. And it's like the small adjustment that you would make on a camera lens, or indeed on a radio tuner, or perhaps I'm talking old days now. They're all digitally on their frequency these days, aren't they? But for the older people on the course, it's about just adjusting the frequency, and so that it's more clear. and transparent. And we can do that. We just need to change the perspective. Look at things in a different way. You know, look at them upside down, look at them back to front, look at all the possibilities and say, imagine the possibilities, if only you could. And as Henry Ford said so many years ago, if you believe you can, you can. And if you believe you can't, well, you're also probably true. So I'm going to be asking you on this course to just try things on for size and see how they fit with your personality. Simple as that. Now, of course, it's not all just about me and what my thoughts are and the things I've read and the things I believe in NLP. I will be giving you some scientific evidence there as well. Now, the model you're seeing on the screen right now is the communication model. And this was the life works of Dr. George Miller of Harvard University, sadly no longer with us, but he spent his entire career giving us a scientific explanation of our thoughts. And what I will be sharing with you, not today, of course, but on this course in September, is that our thoughts are responsible for creating our feelings. It's impossible to have a feeling without first having a thought. So the thoughts create our feelings. Our feelings will create our behavior. And our behavior, of course, will impact upon our performance. So quite simply, thoughts creating feelings, feelings creating behaviors, and behaviors, of course, impacting on our overall performance. And who owns your brain? Well, you do. So therefore, you're in charge of those thoughts from the first place. So you can go back to your sandbox, let more thoughts through. If you don't like the ones that are coming through, if they're just negative things holding you in the past, then let more things through. We've got our senses, we've got our sight, our hearing, our feeling, our smell, and our taste. And there's enough things out there to allow more stuff coming through to filter through to our conscious brain, which are going to be empowering thoughts. Not just thoughts, you know, that make you more positive, but stretch me thoughts, make me better thoughts, make me have more personal impact thoughts, give me greater presence, charisma, and gravitas thoughts. They're the thoughts that we need. And then aside all of the scientific stuff, I'm going to be showing you some really simple, thought-provoking questions, like the one you can see right now. What do successful people think about? Well, successful people don't think about failure. They don't think about being ill-prepared. They don't think about being disorganized or not ready or nervous or fearful of the situation that they're going into. Successful people say, I am capable, I am confident, I am smart, I've got this. And I'm going to encourage you as well to, you know, really lift off and just shine and just give yourself some let me do this thoughts. I can do this thoughts, and really, really powerful, personal, positive, empowering thoughts. There's a lot of P's there in that sentence, guys. So I hope you appreciate that. Okay. And here's a free gift for you today. All right. So it might be that you've joined the course today because you have to have in the next week maybe or in the next month some really great personal impact upon someone. Now, when I really, really, really need to personally impact, I will prepare. I will go to great lengths to prepare myself. And I will deliberately, you know, tune into myself and my thought process and where I am with it. And what I'm trying to do, of course, is give myself the very best chance of success in that situation. So let me ask you right now, you know, maybe you've got your first school assembly coming up. Maybe you're doing your first show round with a large group of people in this, you know, social distancing environment in which we now live. Maybe you're speaking, you know, at a board of directors, or indeed, you know, a gathering of some sort. Maybe you just want to improve your personal impact on a day-to-day basis in the classroom. But here's a wheel of readiness for you. You will get a copy of these slides, as Rebecca said, after the presentation today. And this one I really encourage you to print out and use again and again and again. And you can label these 5 spokes to be whatever you want to be. This is just one that I have used. And what you can see is the scoring of 1 to 10. And I score myself in these sections before I go to battle, if you like. So today, because I wanted to make a very powerful positive influence on you today, I have used it. And I've scored myself from 1 out of 10 on preparation. How prepared am I? You know, what slides am I going to use? How am I going to use them? What am I going to talk around? What type of content do I want to share with you today that leaves you curious and wanting to know more? So I'm going to score myself from 1 to 10 on preparation. Now, number 2 is technical setup. Now, of course, this is very 2020. I have been doing so much, remote training. So this can be on Zoom or Skype, or indeed, as we are today, on this webinar. But the thing is learn your technical setup. You do not want your technical setup to be the handicap that brought down your personal impact and stopped you having great presence on the day. So practice with it, get yourself familiar with it. You know, if you're using whiteboards for the first time, if you're giving a presentation in a large assembly hall, test all of your technical setup so that your performance is giving, you give yourself the best chance of the best performance on the day. Personal impact down there in the bottom, what I'm thinking about there is, what am I going to wear? How am I going to look? And this has got to be appropriate for the situation. We need to be culturally intelligent here as well. You know, what would be the right thing to be wearing in that situation? And before you go on to that stage, or you go into the classroom, or indeed meet with the people, check yourself in the mirror. You know, is your hair in place? Has your mascara stayed on your face? Sorry if there's any guys there. Have we got spinach in our teeth? You know, what are we going to be coming across as? What will be their first impression of us? Because we want to make sure that we get that on point so that our relationship can grow from there and we're not working on an uphill battle. Number 4 for me is energy and enthusiasm. Now, your energy, enthusiasm and passion for what you are doing has got to shine through. It's got to be the differentiator in your performance and the next person. We want it to be memorable. And this is also looking after yourself and your well-being. So, did you drink plenty of water? She says, taking her glass of water. Did you get a good night's sleep? Are you well rested? Have you had lots of fresh air? I will also, I will jump up and down and shake myself to get out nerves and replace it with excitement before I go on stage. So make sure that your energy, enthusiasm is coming through. And if I can just take your minds back to our iceberg model, remember, these are the things that are inside of us and that are personal to our brand that we want to shine through and be more than the 10% that people might have seen of us. My last box on my wheel here is I will score myself from 1 to 10, again, 1 being very low, 10 being extremely high, on my positive mental attitude. Where am I in myself, in my head? Am I giving myself empowering thoughts right now, things that are going to lift my presentation and delivery? Have I got things that I need to get rid of right now? Because if so, then I need to visualize. I need to see myself giving that performance, having that great personal impact and presence, people smiling and nodding and enjoying the interaction that they had with me, all in a very positive manner, of course. So once you've scored yourself on this wheel, then what you're going to do, of course, is join by using arcs of a pencil, then you will join the dots up. And you may find that you have a flat tire. If you're being very, very honest with yourself, you might score yourself low for something. And of course, then you can see that that's where the puncture is. That's the area that needs some focus. It needs some attention. So get yourself back on your wheel of readiness and make sure that you've got a full fat circle there and that everything is going to be geared up for you to give an incredibly successful presentation. Okay, changing slides. Positive is my word. People that know me would know that I am very much half full. I'm very optimistic and I am incredibly positive, probably annoyingly so sometimes to my friend. I always see the better outcome. I'm always looking for the solution to the problem. And people think that positivity can be so fluffy. Well, fluffy, okay, let it be fluffy, but I know that being positive is so practical. It's so practical. The more positive people are, the more successful they are, full stop. It's true, you know positive people and they're successful. Negative people, of course, are not successful because they're filling themselves with self-limiting belief and they're putting blockages along their path all the way. Positive, impactful people, they make better decisions, they're more creative, they're more productive, they're more resilient, and of course they have better interpersonal skills and they communicate better. And of course what we're going to do is really take action on all that and get involved. I'm coming to the end of my slide share, guys, and I want you to really think about this right now. Have I intrigued you? Have I made you curious to want to do this whole thing? It's going to make a difference to your life, whether it's 1% or a big proportionate amount. I promise you there's going to be so much that you will benefit from by having greater personal impact in your life. You might want to jot down the dates and times that we're going to start this first course. It's going to be in 4 consecutive weeks. We start on Wednesday, the 23rd of September at 4 o'clock. That's UAE time, of course. For me, it'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in London. And each session will be 90 minutes long. Okay, there'll be some personal exercise stuff, not loads of time and chores that are going to take you away from your daily job, of course, but things that I want you to think about, and things that I want you to really delve into your own psyche to sort of bring to the sessions. So 4 90-minute sessions delivered consecutively, and I'm going to take you through now what those sessions will look like. So on the first week, that's the 23rd of September, remember, we're going to go right back to basics. We're going to go back and play in the sandbox, and we're going to draw a line there and think about what we're trying to achieve. What are the objectives of this course? So we're going to be asking, you know, what is personal impact and why is it so important? I'm going to be using personality profiling with you, and so that you can really truly understand yourself and know how that you tick along with other people. I want you to unveil your strengths and be really proud of them, stand behind them and push them forward, lean into your attributes and indeed your core values. We're going to look at first and lasting impressions. What impact are you having on people when you first meet them? Is it a very positive influence that's going to make that relationship develop and grow from there? Or are you going to have to, you know, work really hard because you've got a bit of an uphill battle? And we'll do all this through our facial expressions, of course, our body language, our voice. And we'll be mirror matching voice and words and all sorts of movements and gestures and facial expressions. We'll be exploring behaviours of different types of people, and we'll be learning to adapt our own professional behaviour to match and meet the ones of which we're encountering on a daily basis. Session 2 then is all how our thoughts create our reality. That's an absolute truth of fact. Your thoughts create your reality. So we need to work out, are your thoughts serving you well? Are you managing that inner chimp or that inner critic? Are you able to manage the person in your head, the voice that drives you through your day? We'll be developing some positive affirmations that really suit you and suit your situation. And I'm massively an advocate of visualizations. This is you seeing the whole process from start to finish and seeing yourself and really glow and shine with personal presence. And if you think of Olympic athletes, you know, if you've ever watched them, you know, on the track, let's just take a 100-meter runner, for example. They are running their race in their head as they are getting down into the starting position on the blocks. They know how they are placing their foot and where they are breathing and where their arms are moving and where their eyes are looking all the way through that race. They're visualizing them crossing the winning line and cutting through the tape first. And we'll be applying those types of metaphors indeed to our daily work and our daily processes. We'll be looking at rapport building skills, how to get into rapport really quickly with people, and of course, developing our emotional intelligence. And I'm going to add cultural intelligence to that, of course, as well, because of the different types of global areas of which the people will be coming and joining us on the course. Session 3, we're now on the 7th of October of this first course, and that's going to be about brand you. Think of super brands. If you think of the Apples and the Nikes and the Hiltons of the world, you know, these people, these companies, they're getting a reputation for themselves. And the way we get a reputation for ourselves is by building our brand. And we need to be able to package our brand and develop it. I want you to consider your self-image, your projected image, and indeed your perceived image. And when you are happy with that brand, and that's the brand you want to leave as a memory on the people that you meet, then it's about doing it consistently. Consistently to the power of 3. And what this means is that you will be consistently presenting yourself in that way. You will be consistently communicating in that way, and you will be consistently behaving in that way. And when you do that to the power of 3, then of course you are being very true to your brand. I'm going to be also in that session looking at riding the bike of ability, and we're going to be taking a bike as a metaphor there, and how you apply your DAC factor to your day, how you steer and pedal yourself through your day. Remember, DAC factor meaning drive and determination, attitude, good positive attitude, and confidence. Confidence to deliver and to create personal impact. Finally, session 4 then is all about, you know, really pulling it all together. And I'm asking you those simple reflective questions. You know, what do successful people think about? And we're going to develop some really effective systems here. Not wishy-washy systems. These are deliberate, intentional, practical systems which are aimed to improve your performance. So as I said, we are going to giving you an awful lot of fantastic content, and I'm super excited about it. I really am, and I can't wait to share it with you. So we're going to put it all together. I'm not going to leave you with a whole file of tips and techniques, guys. We're going to practice and rehearse it, and I'm going to give you a really, you know, great way to develop a system for yourself. You know, a system that considers the bigger picture, considers priorities, considers application, considers organization, and indeed consistency. And once we can put it all together in that way, then of course, you know, we'll be getting there, and we'll be developing our, you know, our personal impact and presence. Are you excited? I really hope you're nodding around the world right now and saying, yes, I really do want to know more about this. Now is the time, guys. You know, it is a very difficult time that we're in, but we are in this and we're in it together, okay? Your attitude towards it is going to be the difference. We need to be creating some personal impact and presence and memorable moments with our stakeholders. We need to be thinking about our communication with our customers and making sure that we are imprinting upon them in the most powerful, positive, influencing way. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to pass back to Rebecca now and leave you with the words, imagine the possibilities. Thank you.
Well, Jules, thank you so much. Are you excited? Gosh, I am. That was absolutely wonderful, very inspirational, and some of the comments we've had coming through, more comments and questions, certainly reinforce that all the attendees felt the same. There were some bits there that I thought were great. That question at the beginning, you know, what do people feel about you when they meet you, and what will they remember about you afterwards? And you gave us some great questions there, and some time for reflection, even in just this short session for me. you know, I've reflected on myself as a person and my impact and how I might improve that, and I'm sure the other attendees have done the same. You know, sometimes you listen to things and you think, actually, yeah, no, that's really good to hear that. That reinforces that I've done something well and I'm doing it right. But the flat tire concept, where actually perhaps something might let you down, was a great concept and really good to think about. So thank you very, very much from me and on behalf of all the attendees. I'm just going to go in and see if there's any specific questions. Lots and lots of lovely comments about this was absolutely inspirational, amazing session, thank you. Very informative and inspirational in a nutshell. So not many questions. I think probably people are just mulling all that sort of thought-provoking dialogue through their head. So I will just do a little bit of what Jules did there and just reinforce or reiterate the fact that we're running a virtual course. This was just a taster, and hopefully it's got your taste buds going, and you're interested in finding out a little bit more. Big thank you, Jules, for sharing your knowledge and expertise, and you talk about personal impact and passion, and I think you have that in abundance. So thank you so much. If you've got any questions that you think of afterwards, or there's anything you're interested in that we've not communicated in this course, anything to do with personal impact, you'd like some training above and beyond the virtual course that we can get Jules involved with, please do let us know. Once again, a recording of this webinar will be available for you tomorrow at 5 o'clock, along with your certificate of attendance if you actually were in attendance. If you were just a registered delegate but didn't actually make the session, you don't get the certificate, I'm afraid. We'll send you in just a few moments a PDF copy of the PowerPoint, so you'll have that for reference as well. So now on to the programme. We're running the course entitled the same as the webinar today, Powerful Positive Presence, a training course to enhance personal impact. And this is going to run from the 23rd of September to the 14th of October. Jules outlined those dates for you. The booking deadline, importantly, is Wednesday, the 9th of September. So do try and book on early. We've got sort of limited places and we'd hate you to be disappointed. We want to try and keep the numbers to a reasonable size to allow for some discourse, professional dialogue, and questions and answers. So please do book early. Keep an eye on our webinar site because we will be trying to run some more of these sessions for you. Any other last minute questions or comments from anybody? I'm just having a quick look here. No, just more comments. Thanks again for this great session, really interesting. Thank you. One person said they were dropping out and perhaps didn't get all the information. Don't worry, the video that you'll be sent will enable you to hear all of Jules's inspirational words of wisdom. So we are now just about at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to say once again, big thank you to Jules. That was absolutely fantastic. And until then, we hope to see you book onto the course and learn more. Until then, thank you to Jules. Good luck to the rest of you with the challenging times we're experiencing at the moment. You're all doing a great job, so please keep doing that. And we thank you guys so much. It's such a challenging time, and you're really rising to that challenge. And we hope to see you all at our next webinar. Bye bye for now. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.